All right. So one of the problems I mentioned was that the fuel pump was bad. So I went ahead and ordered a fuel pump. Nobody was moving. The seller keeps saying they're going to send me the money for the fix. Keep selling. I mean, it's been a week now. Um,
All right, y'all. So it's been a while since I made the video that you guys are watching right now. So I just want to give you guys an update on the situation with the dealership and them paying for any repairs. So essentially, the dealership called me. So the video that I made talking about my experience and everything, the first video after the RX-7 arrived, that video hit Saturday. It's probably like 2 weeks ago. Saturday. In my time, it was around noon Saturday. I'll tell you the exact date because I honestly can't even remember. It was 2 Saturdays ago, so the 25th, I guess, of October, and that's essentially was it the 25th? Something like that. And that day, essentially, I went through the entire day, no issues. You know, the video was already up, whatever. And then the dealership called me around dinner time because I knew it was around dinner time because I was at a restaurant or about to eat at a restaurant. I was actually into the line waiting, and they called me and they said, "Hey, man, so I have my mechanic on the line, and we're just going to talk about everything you're experiencing to see if this is anything he knows about." And I start telling him everything, and lo and behold, the mechanic said, "We were experiencing similar problems, but we thought we had fixed them." And yeah, he said the tachometer and the speedometer were working when the car left, and the car was in perfect condition when the car left. So obviously the car was not, because it arrived here not in perfect condition, and I don't expect all of those problems to come back on a trip from California to here. So that's just my opinion. Obviously, I don't know what happened, but that's essentially what they said. And then the dealership essentially sent me the money for the first repairs, which were going to be, at the time, whenever I had originally said all this, were going to be the fuel pump and fuel filter. Now, I bought the fuel pump and fuel filter because, like I said, like I already said in the video, no one was moving at anything. I've had not heard back from them for 2 weeks or a week and a half about covering the cost of the repairs. And so I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to buy the fuel pump and fuel filter, and I will just, if for whatever reason something doesn't happen, I will essentially start doing the repairs on my own, because obviously I'm not going to pay someone to do the repairs if I can do them. Now, obviously there are things that I can't do, and I'm 100% aware of that, but the fuel pump, the fuel filter, I can do that stuff. So I went ahead, ordered that stuff, waited around. I even told the dealership, hey, this is what the products are going to cost me to repair this car, and if you pay me in time, I'll just go take it to the guy and he'll repair it. And essentially what happened is I didn't hear back. So like I said, I just ordered the parts, and I ended up installing the fuel pump, which you'll see in this video. But the next, not the next day, but maybe like 3 or 4 days after, I was due to, or I was already working on doing the fuel filter as well, because I was doing a fuel filter relocation, because the location of the fuel filter on the RX-7s is not ideal. So there's a relocation kit, and I had bought that as well as the fuel filter. And I was working on that the day before I was scheduled to take it to the shop. Now, by this day, the day I was taking it to the shop, I had already spoken to, so let me backtrack. The day I was eating dinner at a restaurant, the guy ended up saying yes, he will pay for the repairs, and he sent me the money for the fuel filter, the fuel pump, and the work to do that. And by that point, I had already done the fuel filter. So now, at this point in this video, this was right before the guy said, yes, I'm paying for everything. So I did not know he was going to pay for everything, because like I said, it had been like a week and a half, 2 weeks since I heard anything from him. And therefore, I just went ahead and did it, because I wanted to see what the issues were that I could fix. And if I could fix the car to a point where I could drive the car, then the tachometer and the speedometer essentially would not be such a big deal, because that can be fixed later on, and I should be able to register the car without them needing that, the tach and the speedo and all that, because essentially I have an estimate of how many kilometers it has, so I will just go slightly higher than the estimate, so it doesn't look like I'm lying about kilometers or anything. And I don't know. Honestly, I guess I could go lower than the estimate, because, or I don't know. The last maintenance record said like 50 or 40, 45, 44,000 kilometers. The guy that sold me the car, he said it was 46,000 kilometers. So technically, I could just go with the 46,000 kilometers and call it a day. But that's where I'm at. So he has officially said he's going to fix all the repairs. Obviously, I had him saying he was going to do that anyways, but he had us officially started going the route of fixing the car by sending money to fix the car. So far, he's only covered the repairs for the fuel pump, fuel filter, and the work needed for that. And so that's where we're at. So I just wanted to say that before you guys got too far into the video thinking that this guy had not reached out to me yet and he was not fixing the car. So there you go.
And they haven't said anything. So I went ahead, just did it, because at the end of the day, like I mentioned in the last video, I'll probably have to do a chargeback because this person's kind of flaky anyways. So he doesn't respond to my text messages. That's the craziest thing. He only responds to my text messages once I call him a couple times. Then he realizes that now that he answered the phone, he has to actually text me back. So we're gonna fix the fuel pump. So the first thing you gotta do is take this little bracket off that holds the cables in place, and then there's a bracket here. This is what it connects to. So it goes like this, just like that. And this one's held up by 4 screws. I got all that stuff out. Then there is a hole right here. So I'm gonna move you guys so you guys can see it. So this hole right here essentially is where the fuel tank is. So once you take this cover off, this comes out with this little grommet rubber seal thing. And then you have 6 screws that you have to take off to get the fuel pump out. So there's all these little hoses that have to be disconnected. There's 2 hoses that have to be disconnected. One of them can just kind of be pushed behind this little plastic retainer right here. And then this one, I did push it, but as long as you lift it up, honestly, it comes out. So it's not a big deal. So the fuel tank is right here. You can smell the fumes right now. I'm gonna put gloves on so I can continue. So I already have the fuel pump out. I actually have it over here. I already disconnected everything. I already took it apart. So you guys, now I'm gonna show you what has to be done. So this is the fuel pump assembly with a new fuel pump already on here. The new fuel pump, it is very small compared to the old fuel pump. So this is the old fuel pump compared to the new fuel pump. It's relatively small. I haven't connected everything yet. I just want to show you how it's supposed to look. So there's these cables here that come with the new fuel pump that you have to connect to the connector of the old fuel pump, essentially. And you can see this fuel pump actually looks like it's 30-something years old. It's pretty nasty. And the pre-filter on the new fuel pump is actually small as well. So there's that. So once I have all this connected, it'll go back in there and I will try to turn the car on and hopefully everything works as expected. That's all I can say for now, because this is the first time I've had to wire anything in the car. So I've wired stuff like building stuff, and usually if you're wiring building stuff, you can pretty much relatively quickly know if something works because you have fuses. And once the fuse goes off, that means that something's wrong. So you go back while the fuse is off and you figure it out again. But in this one, if the fuse goes bad, I have to replace the fuse. So there is that. So let's do some electrical work now and try to connect these things together. You do some wire crimping, some making it as watertight as possible, weatherproof essentially. So I do have some, like, one of those little rubber, I forgot what they're called, but they go over the wire and then you heat them up to shrink it to the wire and pretty much cover anything on there. So that's what we'll be doing. So let me go ahead and put this down here. Take this out. Go. And now I'll have to cut this, so I gotta find a place to cut that. So I really should have checked here. And oh, I can go all the way up. So I'll pretty much just cut these right here. All right, be back. All right, so I got this figured out. Just some heat shrink tubing on there. This way. Got that. This project required a whole lot of WD-40 because everything was super rusted. So, all right, time to put it back in. I was going to replace these screws too. Dang it. I meant to go get more screws. So, well, I thought I was done. I need screws. These are all pretty rusted. This one looks decent. So I'm trying to just get it on there so nothing else can get in here. But I'm going to have to go get some screws because these are all pretty rusted. So I'm going to have to get screws. There's 6 of them. This one looks decent. There's still metal showing on this one. It's not mainly rust, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in too. So I have to put these 2 hoses back on, screw these things back in. So let me get this one out of the way. Put these things back on like that. Connect this through, or put this through these holes. Connect this back on, and that's it. Reconnect the battery. That's it. Honestly, if it wasn't for, so one of the screws was stripped, so I had to use one of these like speed out extractor things. Actually 2 of them were stripped, so I had to use that. And then the other 4 were pretty decent. I could get them out, but like, I don't think these are going to be able to be used again, because next time these have to be taken out, they're all going to be bad. So I'm going to take those to Lowe's, try to find replacements that are stainless steel. And then I'll put all this back on now because no reason to wait. So I got all this back in. Only thing left now is to close the gas cap, connect the battery, and try to turn the car on. So wish me luck. Don't be loud. it doesn't do it really. I think what's going on now is that it needs an actual tune. Because it only does it in third gear, and it's like very subtle. It's almost like it needs a tune now because it's not doing it like so. Before it was doing it pretty much like every 5 seconds. So now, I still have to replace the fuel filter, so that's the next thing. But it's completely better, like whole lot better, huge difference. I was able to get it into fourth gear. For us to get it into third gear before was so much work. So already a huge difference. So I replaced the fuel pump, and it's a lot better. A huge difference. But I think the car needs a tune. I think that's what it needs. I should not have returned the pressure tester, the fuel pressure tester. I should have kept it until I got done after the fuel pump. Because now I don't know if the test will have the same results after the new fuel pump. But I am positive this thing needs a tune. Because they installed this exhaust here in the United States, and I don't think it got it tuned after. So I think this just needs a tune at this point. So honestly, I was not so I was like in my mind I was psyching myself out. I'm like, the car's not going to turn on. The car's not going to turn on because I'm gonna screw something up. But then it turned on, and then I kept telling myself that's not going to fix the problem. But then it fixed the problem. So there is a little of a stutter in third gear. It only happens in third gear, but then again, you saw how far I drove. I didn't drive very far. Um, so I think it just needs a tune. I will still replace the fuel filter because I already have it. It's right there on the porch. So I'll replace the fuel filter. I'll make a video about that too. Why not? And then I have to figure out the dash situation. I'm probably just now that the car can actually drive, I'll keep driving it local stuff to see how it does, like longer distances and for longer driving before I actually drive it anywhere far away. But because the mechanic is about an hour away. But nice stuff. Now I gotta call my cousin and tell him. So with that said, if you made it this far into the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything that I put out in the future. As always, peace.